Heard that on somebody's stand-up, and I took it.
Joke thief. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Welcome to the Hive. Got Carl Roberson sitting in with me tonight.
What's up, man? How everybody doing tonight?
So this is Brian Wright, your normal host, with my occasional co-host. And so what's up, man?
Nothing, man. Living life, training, just looking forward to new opportunities.
So we are sitting here February 1st, and we still don't have a fight lined up, do we?
No, we don't. Unfortunately.
If you hear salt in my voice, it's actually there. It's true.
Salt in everybody's time. Pissed.
There are people that fought on the card you fought on that have already fought.
Yes.
The guy you beat already fought.
Exactly. There's a couple people that's fighting.
Angela Hill's fighting in Orlando.
Yeah, and the one who lost to Marlon is fighting Saturday.
It's crazy.
Disrespect.
I don't know. I think the 185 division, they got some traffic problems. They don't know what to do.
185 division, everybody getting a little soft. And it's starting to piss me off.
Well, but if you look at the top 10 guys, they're either fighting or they're picking and choosing. And then I guess they have guys, kind of first, second contract guys that are just not active. So maybe the UFC will force one of those guys to actually say yes, because I think that's what's going to make it happen.
It's okay. You earned your spot, I'm going to leave you alone. But if you're not in the top 10 and you decline to fight, you're a bitch. I'm just in all aspects, super direct, you're a bitch. We're fighters, we fight. Suck it up, sign the contract, and fight.
I don't know how these guys are living unless they have other jobs, but if you're fighting for a living, you have to fight.
For real. It's unacceptable.
Now, there's a lot of guys on the roster right now that they're waiting a long time. They're guys, I mean, the Polish guy we were talking about, Jotko, as a potential for you. I don't think he's fought since September.
Last time he fought, he got knocked out.
He lost to Uriah Hall, and that was in September.
Yeah, but he was 3 months, September, October, November, and he probably, who knows what other things they had to stop with. Because you automatically get what?
I mean, depending on how bad it is, you get 30 to 60, but still, that's a long time to not fight. It's a long time to not get paid. So, it is what it is. I was talking with Brian Hamper. We actually did a podcast today. We had an audio problem. I can't believe it. And I lost the conversation. But one of the things we were talking about was that with the UFC, there's no magic formula to get in a fight. There's no magic here. Doesn't matter winning, losing. I mean, if you look at guys that have lost that are getting quick turnarounds, I don't know if they're trying to work them out of their contracts. We can't figure out what their thought process is. We don't know what makes them want to get behind you. But whatever. I mean, it's their prerogative. They can do whatever they want.
I just like fighting and hurting people, so that's why I'm waiting on my next chance to do that.
You know, also making a living fighting people.
Yes, fighting and hurting.
Yes.
Just fighting.
Yes. You have to make a living doing this. So, yeah, the good thing is you're training, you're putting in the work, and you'll be ready. Every time we work, I kind of look at how far out we are, and optimally, you're probably 2 to 3 weeks out, but you could fight on a week out, no problem.
Okay.
So one thing I do want to address, because we haven't talked on here about it, was the Vitor Belfort fight. So when Uriah Hall didn't make weight, I was actually out with my son, and I turned on my phone and I see Uriah Hall can't make weight. And I'm looking at Vitor Belfort, and I'm looking at Uriah Hall not there. And I said, wait a minute. This would be a good opportunity. And that's when I hit you and said, hey, would you be interested in that? And, of course, you don't hesitate. You're like, I'll go right now. And so then I hit up the manager, and the manager's like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah. He goes, give me a minute. And we have proof that the UFC was down with it if Vitor said yes. But Vitor did not say yes. So it didn't happen. But it's pretty cool that the UFC was actually thinking that was a good idea. I mean, for you to be able to fight a guy like that, that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's always a good opportunity.
Legend fights are kind of your thing, I guess.
I like to retire people, and I have no problem with it.
Yo, the one I was thinking about, has that Croatian kid that you fought in amateur kickboxing ever fought again? The one you knocked out?
No, not that I know of.
He had how many fights when you fought him? It was 20-something, right?
Yeah, that's 20-something wins.
Yeah, it was like 22 wins, and he had over 30 fights probably.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Hey.
It is what it is.
Mentally strong. You got to be mentally strong enough to win and lose, not just win.
Yes. Sometimes you got to pick yourself up and dust it off, and get back to it. It's not always hand raised.
Yeah. Some people not built for it. And it shows after they get their ass beat.
Yeah, one thing that, another thing we were talking about, and something you and I talk about quite a bit, is you get these guys on the regional circuits, or even in the amateur ranks, that they win a bunch of fights, they get some belts, and they start to believe the hype in a lot of ways. They start to think they're like the big man. And the funny part about it is that it's almost like going from high school to college when you go from regional to a UFC or a glory level, because you go from being the man wherever you are to you're the new kid again. You're a freshman all over again.
Freshman class. You get shell shocked.
A lot of guys can't handle that transition because they're so used to having all their friends and family in a crowd and everybody telling them how great they are, and then they're going into a larger organization where they're nobody, and they got to scrap it back again.
Yeah. Some people just can't handle it, and that's what they fold under the pressure.
Yeah.
I guess that's why you got to stay humble, especially in the younger days. Like, don't let the hype get you, because a lot of people feel you hear a lot of BS. Oh, you're great, you'll do this, and then you get thrown the big show, shell shock. You're not as good as you thought you were.
And the UFC, too, they don't care about ticket sales the way a regional promoter does. They care about pay-per-view buys, and they care about developing somebody that's going to bring a lot of eyeballs to the sport. But that's a lot different than selling 100 tickets to your friends and family in your local town. That's a whole nother level of being an entertainer and an athlete.
Definitely pay attention to skill level. There's a lot of people who look extremely nice, getting bags, and then they get into a fight and they look like shit. A lot of people who get into fights at lower levels and they get fed guys who aren't that good, and when they get into a real fight in the UFC, it's like, oh, he's getting exposed.
And that goes back to the tickets. Yeah. You get a guy who sells a lot of tickets on the regional level, you're going to keep feeding him easy fights as a promoter because you want him to keep selling tickets for you.
Exactly. You can't be mad at the promoter.
He's got a living to make too. Yeah, we all do. It's a business.
Exactly. So it is what it is. You gotta
take that all and be humble and take it all. Yeah, I was just going to say that because that's you can't believe that manufactured hype and allow that to derail you from the ultimate dream of what you want.
That's what they say now, fake love. That's what it is, fake love. You can't fall into it.
Hey, you know what I say on that one. Do you want to be famous or you want to be a fighter?
Yeah, because that's not hand to hand. It comes to some, but not most. So.
The fame side of it, I think a lot of people are, again, looking at people that are already famous, and they're thinking if they emulate that, they'll become that. But I was just saying that to someone on the map before, though. If you look at the big name guys, they're not playing a role. They're being who they are. And even if they've created a persona as on the entertainment, like we were saying how Conor McGregor has a reputation for actually being a little bit more of a laid-back, quiet dude outside of the spotlight, but in the spotlight he becomes something else. But he's being it's still him. Yeah. It's his persona. Yeah. It's not someone else he's pretending to be.
He doesn't remind you of anybody. That's what it is. When you start acting like, you can tell when you act like somebody when you start to remind other people of someone else.
Or when you see Conor come on the scene, making a ruckus basically, and then all of a sudden guys that have never spoken up are now starting to say dumb shit. Yeah, so you get guys faking it.
Dumb shit that they can't even back up.
Well, it was funny. Even Jose Aldo never spoke. Yeah. And then McGregor just brought like a whole thing out of him. And it was funny. It was a different side of him we saw, but I don't know if it was an authentic side. I don't know if he was trying to get paid or maybe he was just really angry.
Yeah, maybe he was mad. Like,
yeah.
He went through a lot of up and downs in the last couple of years. So.
The one guy who's always been consistent is Frankie Edgar.
Yeah.
Frankie's a grinder, and he's not a huge talker, never has been, and he's never even risen to the occasion when they're telling him talk. He just lets his work speak for itself.
He talks, but it's not like outlandish. It's like it doesn't like stand out.
It's conversational. It's not like, promotional.
It's like a casual I'll fuck you up instead of like, oh, who the fuck is this guy? Like, he doesn't like go overboard. He does just enough.
I've never seen Edson talk either.
Edson's not a talker. Edson's an action guy. He's like, I'm not going to talk. So I'm gonna go
He's knocking people out with spinning back kicks. He doesn't have to say much.
Yeah, it's like, I'm going to go in there and just do what I do and have fun.
With him, I feel like when people ask him, how are you going to do, he's just going to be like, remember Eddie M? Yeah. That was the first guy to get knocked out with a spinning back kick. Yeah, I did that.
Started a whole revolution.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I think all of it is just coming down to the more you have to find out how to be successful as yourself instead of emulating when it comes to the training, when it comes to promoting, when it comes to all of it. Because if you are playing a part, you do get exposed. If you make it through the amateur rank successfully and the regional rank successfully playing a part, when you get to the big show, you're not going to last. Those are those guys that I used to call them the Ohio records. The guy's got 30 professional wins, and then he shows up and he's garbage. It's like, yeah, because he was fighting, chicken wire cage in a bar somewhere.
Or Mexico doing something weird.
Yes. Pat Miletich used to have those stories about they had a bar down the street from the gym, and if you want to join his team, he'd be like, hey, you want to go get a drink? And then you'd show up, and he'd be like, okay, you're fighting tonight. And he'd make guys fight.
Hey.
That's pretty cool if you had the option to do that. That's how you really find out what somebody's made of.
Yeah, for real. That's how you find someone's a fighter or a runner. Like, wait a minute. He thought he was a fighter, so he got punched a couple times.
That's why they built the team they built when they did.
Yeah,
they had their time.
It's such a natural sport, man. You can talk all the junk you want, but again, it's mano a mano, and all that talk's not going to come out in the cage.
So, Ngannou and Miocic just happened recently. What'd you think of that?
Miocic did a phenomenal job.
That was a very strategic fight.
That's what you call experience.
Yes.
Because Ngannou's been knocking people out left and right. And he's not no chump.
One of the scariest part of that fight was the last round. Ngannou can't stand. He's on nothing. And he still hit Miocic with a half-ass punch. And Miocic, you saw him get rocked. And then he took him right down again. A lot of people missed it. I was talking about, like, did you see that punch in the fifth? And what are you talking about? Everybody, I think, kind of went to sleep because the rhythm kind of became the same thing. It was Ngannou would come out, he would throw, Miocic took him down, and then sat on him, worked him enough just to keep it down on the ground, didn't let him back up. But every time Ngannou hit him, you saw his legs go a little wobbly, and he stiffened up a little bit. It was like, oh, shit. And then he'd take him down. I can't imagine feeling that punch. That has got to be a heavy punch.
Yeah.
But that's all he's got. That's why he got beat.
But again, he's young in this game. He's super young in this game, and it showed.
I hope that this loss propels him to better training.
You'll see what type of. That's again, you see what type of guy he is. If he's really about the life, or he's just in it just to.
I don't give a shit if this dude's listening, but when I saw Dewey Cooper in the corner, I knew there was problems. I knew. I hate to throw shade on a trainer, but I know that guy, and I know how he rides certain talent out in Vegas. And when I saw that, I said, "Uh-oh." I know you have no comment on that. It's fine. This is all me. This is all me in the world. And I'm not. I'm not hating on him personally. I'm just saying from a training point of view, I saw that. And I know he's really a kickboxer, and that was not the guy that Ngannou needed to have in the corner. He needed to have somebody that was going to force him to wrestle, somebody that's going to force him to do jiu-jitsu, not somebody that's going to be like, you're really heavy-handed, good job, good job, good job. And I know that's what happens with that.
If you do, it'll be exposed because people will notice that quick.
You can be a one-trick pony as long as that trick pony's a motherfucker. Like, you really have to be that good. There are certain fighters that they have things. Frankie Edgar's takedowns, who stops that takedown?
Yeah, but again, Frankie Edgar had to evolve because Aldo,
but again, he got exposed by Aldo in that one.
Yeah, and then you see him evolve again, and his takedowns come after like a barrage of punches, and you swing back, he cuts the angle, boom, got you. Yeah. He's been taking down top-level wrestlers like it's nothing.
People think you're a one-trick pony, and then they get armbarred or choked out. So, but again, if your trick is that strong, it makes that stuff happen.
And again, it's not bad to be one-trick pony, but be one-trick pony with some other tricks. Let people think you're a one-trick pony to surprise. Haha, I'm not just a kickboxer, I grab you.
Well, that's the thing where I'm alluding to is your striking is guys see you do your work, and it's like, okay, I really have to watch that, and they forget that there are other skills available. And you don't have to have as high level of jiu-jitsu to score a takedown or even a submission than other guys would, because they fall asleep because of the fear of the other stuff, which is great.
Underestimate my jiu-jitsu and surprise.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the minute they start to think your jiu-jitsu is where it's at, you're going to start knocking them out. Yeah, it's one or the other. It's going to happen.
We'll figure it out sooner or later. And get hurt.
Or they won't, and that's just the way it goes. So I was talking with Mike Plano about this and when he was on, and the rise of strength and conditioning in sports. Strength and conditioning right now is at a whole nother level than it's ever been. People understand how to push the human body. And when you take the steroids, the high level usage of steroids that occurred during a certain generation allowed things to be different. But now you're seeing more science brought into it, guys training better, they're faster. But one thing I brought up on that, and I was curious to your opinion on it. I look at MMA, and I look at all combat sports, from boxing to kickboxing. I don't watch jiu-jitsu that way, but I do see it to a degree. I see a lot of guys relying on their strength and conditioning in those sports to a different level than you would in, say, MMA. Where I see MMA still, it has a level of creativity that boxing had at a higher level maybe 10 years ago. Because I didn't watch a full boxing card until the McGregor-Mayweather fight. And we went to James's place and we watched all those fights. I couldn't believe how many guys were relying purely on conditioning and speed. It wasn't as slick. It was not as subtle. It was more of a bludgeon thing. It was just really fast guys picking people apart and wearing them down over time. It was different. Of course, there's going to be technicians. There are still guys. But I think when, again, maybe a decade ago, the overall level was different, and you could see the difference where guys now, they may not be as skilled, but they're in such good shape, and they're so explosive, and they're just so fast. They get away with things other guys were not able to.
Yeah, but again, that comes with the top level.
Yeah.
As a top level, that doesn't really work as much, because you got to say in the top 10 of boxers, the top 5 are conditioned and have the skill.
Yes,
the other
agreed.
5 are just conditioned, and they just out-condition, outwork the other people.
But the difference between boxing and MMA
is a world difference.
But we rarely watch an entire boxing card.
Yeah.
We usually only watch the top 5.
Yeah, that's the only thing worth watching.
And in MMA, we watch every fight.
Yeah, that's because you never know what's going to come, because there's so many aspects to MMA that boxing doesn't have. You can have all the strength conditioning in the world, you can do it, but if I grab you and you can't use it, then what?
Floyd Mayweather is an amazing athlete, but he'd get finished in one round in an MMA fight.
Definitely. I think Lomachenko would do better in an MMA fight than Floyd would, just off of the type of movement and the type of defense they have.
He's more of a creative boxer, and he has great, and he really, his distance and timing is different.
His footwork is more like MMA fighters' distance and footwork, with angle cutting and back and switch.
I feel like Mayweather uses boxing, the rules of boxing against you, where Lomachenko uses human mechanics more.
Against you.
Yeah. Where Mayweather's a master of boxing, where I think Lomachenko's a master of just the body in general.
It's a mental game, because he switches a lot on the fly.
I've never seen anybody move like him.
Yeah.
Nowhere. Maybe. I've never seen, outside of like maybe dancing. I'm like, that dude can move, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
always one in a generation. And
what was his last fight? He got hit 3 times in the whole fight?
Again, that was against another high level guy. You can tell when you get yourself level, that's when stuff really starts to stick out.
Yeah, I just find that with MMA that the amount of things you're able to do force people to find more and more creative solutions to the problem. And that's why I think MMA will always evolve.
Yeah, and MMA conditioning is just the glue in MMA, just to hold everything together.
Well, that's like the given. It's the given. You have to be in shape for it.
Yeah, and you'd be surprised. A lot of people aren't. A lot of people get into their head and they just become one facet. Like they just focus on one thing, and they have condition for that. But when they took into another world, it's like surprise. This is a whole different condition.
There's punching endurance, there's kicking endurance, there's wrestling endurance, and it's all different. And if you're not prepared for all those ranges, if someone takes you outside of your comfort zone, they're going to gas you out and finish you.
Exactly. And there's in boxing, I think you only got two options. So that's what Floyd Mayweather really uses. Your two options, and he'll force you to only be able to use one.
Yeah.
Lomachenko, he don't care what your options are.
He's just taking everything away from you and using it against you.
The difference between Lomachenko and Floyd Mayweather, Lomachenko is an offensive fighter, Floyd Mayweather is a defensive fighter.
Yes.
But they both are counterpunchers.
Yes.
They're different type of counterpunching, and it shows.
The one talking about conditioning, Edson Barboza versus Khabib.
Edson's conditioning is
that was insane.
Outrageous. For to have a grown man with that type of strength to grab you, for you to get up and immediately spin a back kick.
And to be a striker like that.
Yeah.
Because most strikers do not have the endurance to hang out on the ground, come back up, and still bang out that spinning kick. He almost caught him in the last round.
He did.
Couldn't believe it.
That's why he grabbed him like that. He wasn't.
How many times did you think Edson quit in that fight? Because I was looking at I'm looking at his face and I'm like, he's got it. I think he just quit. And then you see he just flipped the switch and was like, yeah, I'm back.
Nah, fuck that. Ah.
Yeah. It was funny. I saw him look at the corner and he just kind of smirked and then he just got up. Jesus Christ. How does he keep getting up?
That's because when you're well prepared, truthfully, like you could tell he did the wrestling because he was doing everything right. It just. That level of wrestling is just hard to compete with if you haven't been doing it your whole life.
Yeah, and 6 weeks of wrestling is not going to deal with a lifetime of wrestling.
Nah,
and that's with Cormier, too.
Yeah, definitely.
How do you stop Cormier?
And Cormier's wrestling is so good and he's so aggressive with it that you think about it so much that you forget that he can hit you, too.
Having an Olympian grab your leg and pick you up, that's very different than you or me trying to pick somebody up.
Definitely. He does it with so much ease.
Oh, my God. My favorite slam is from the Strikeforce Grand Prix when he picked up Josh Barnett. He basically picked him up over his head, spun him around, and then slammed him on his back. When I saw that, I couldn't believe it. I never saw anyone manhandle Josh Barnett like that in his entire career. That was insane. Then the one when Cormier fought Jones the first time, and he couldn't get that high crotch pickup on him, that was the one I was looking at going, Jones is just a freak. He's so tall.
Most people don't speak on Jones. Jones was a wrestler.
Was he a national champ at Division III?
Yeah, so he's a wrestler. So he has an aspect of it, and to incorporate that into fighting, that brings you a higher level.
And Division III wrestling, there's no in between. You either suck or you are amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like there's a lot of really good wrestlers came out of Division III.
Yeah, then Corey came out of Division III.
Yeah.
Exactly. He's a top level wrestler.
Yes.
And the thing about Cormier that threw off with Jones striking is so awkward and good.
Yeah.
Is that Cormier's wrestling was kind of negated from that. So he's kind of hesitant to just rush in there because knees, elbows, and everything.
And now Cormier's last fight fought, I can't even say that guy's name.
Vulcan. I think that's
Vulcan, wasn't it like Oyster Pick or whatever?
Guess what? I'm sticking with Vulcan because that's all.
What was his name? Ozdemir?
Yep, we stick with
Ozdemir.
Vulcan.
Okay.
That's what I know.
So Cormier's striking in that, he was on point. His cross was landing.
Yeah, and that's because Vulcan was scared of his wrestling.
Yes.
Vulcan was waiting for the wrestling.
And again, that shows you that there's levels to this. So you can be in the UFC, you can be an internationally known whatever, but there's still a lot of levels to this business.
You can tell if you watch the fight, the first round, Cormier was kind of hesitant because he knew Vulcan was a striker. After he took the first two punches, you see his face change.
Yes.
It was a, that's it face.
Yeah.
There was no wrestling after that.
No.
He didn't even angle. He walked forward, slipped and rolled.
Yeah.
And just kept hitting him.
Well, you do know that in a fight. It's weird how that goes. There are certain fights that somebody does something and you're like, oh, that's the best you have? Oh, I am so good right now. I'm going to kill you. Exactly. You're dead.
Exactly.
You got nothing from me.
Exactly.
And when that switch goes, you literally can do whatever you want. And that person's broken, and you're on a up.
Realizes that you realize that was your best, and he took it with no problem.
There's nothing worse when you hit somebody your best shot. They kind of smirk at you, and you're like, "Man, he's not faking. He really just does not care. I'm in trouble today. I'm in trouble today."
15 minutes.
And two, when you think you're the striker and you're getting outstruck by the wrestler,
and that's where diversity comes in. If you can't switch gears and try to change it up, it's gonna.
I think that guy's gonna have a good future if he. The only thing is, again, one problem that happens with these guys is they go on these tears where they're knocking guys out and they win 4 or 5 fights, whatever. And that's, again, it's like Cormier's fight and then the Miocic fight. Both losers in those fights have the opportunity now they can come back better, or that aura of invincibility has been broken and they may never be the same.
Yeah, exactly. That's why what Will Smith said, lose early or lose often. MMA fighting is kind of hard, but,
it's hard.
But you got to understand what he's saying. You got to lose and be able to mentally come back from that.
Yeah, don't lose so many times that you lose your contract and it takes you 2 years to get back to the big show.
Lose once, suck that up, and then move forward.
And it's funny, Corey's got some losses, but Corey's losses always were a stepping stone instead of a setback. They're a setback career-wise to a degree, but he always built a better Corey and then one better next. So that's what I want to see out of a guy.
Exactly. That's the mark of a champion, top 5 champion.
I remember when Gabriel Gonzaga knocked out Mirko Cro Cop. Cro Cop was never the same. Then he got knocked out a bunch of times after that.
One knockout, that changes you.
When you get that. Well, I honestly...
I think it's when you are the knockout artist and you get knocked out, it's like shell shock. So this is what I've been doing to people.
Well, look at Chuck Liddell, same thing. He got knocked out and never the same. Yeah. I think a lot of these guys, too, I think they do lose their chin.
Yeah.
I'm still not 100% convinced that the chin is physical, because I know there were days that I would step on the mat and I just had it in my head, you can't hurt me. And I would take massive shots almost on purpose to kind of prove myself I could do it because I'm an idiot.
Yeah, but in that way you were ready for it.
But I was like, you can't break me. And then there are other days I would get tapped and I'd be, whoa, I'm like not here.
That's just the right way. But you got to think your mindset, you were ready for it. So your body was ready to get hit. But if you're not feeling it and you get hit, that's when the shaky starts to come.
So when guys lose belief in their chin, I think the chin goes. And then I do think there's a physical thing that we don't fully understand. Because I remember even with Andy Hoog's career, Andy Hoog was a famous K1 fighter. Look him up. He got knocked out a bunch of times. And then they found out that his jaw didn't line up right, and they gave him a new mouthpiece. Well, so when he was getting hit, his jaw was compressing into his neck, and it was cutting off oxygen, and it was putting him out. Because when you get knocked out, if you get punched in the jaw, the reason you get knocked out is because your jaw compresses the blood vessels in your neck, so you lose oxygen, and it's enough oxygen to click you out. So Andy would get hit, and he would go out, and it was because his jaw wasn't right. So then they gave him a new mouthpiece, and he started to box more, and then he was taking punches differently, and then his mouth was in the same position. And then I think the only knockout, really bad one he had after that, wasn't even that kind of shot. He got Peter Arts kicked him in the head, and
that's from blunt force trauma.
When he hit him, if you listen to it, it sounded like a 5-wood hitting a golf ball. It was nasty, and it was in the finals of the K1 Grand Prix, and he comes out and just took a shin off the back of his head, and it was like... and face first. Done. I never heard anything like that when a guy got knocked out. It was the weirdest thing. It's on YouTube. You could look it up. Peter Arts, Andy Hoog. I don't remember what year it was, but it was the K1 Grand Prix finals. Andy was smashing dudes, and then the lumberjack. You hear that a lot in Glory, because Glory, they be setting people up for failure. So you hear them bad, like, crack, and then you, like, slide off the ropes. And I'm telling you, though, listen to this one. You find it on YouTube, put the sound up, and it's like, ooh, wait a minute. Ooh, he's dead. That's not good. That was not good. Yo, real quick, Trent, come on over here. No. So, those of you that listen know Trent. How you doing, Trent? We get to do a twofer today.
Yeah.
So, Trent, what? Whoa! Put that. Oh shit! I wish I had. Oh my gosh! This is why he drives cars. Because you can't figure anything else out.
All right, there we go.
Why am I being mean to you again?
No, man, I drive in circles for a living. I'm not very smart.
Trent, so you took first loser in a race this weekend.
I thought you were going somewhere else with that. Yeah, man, first loser by 16 seconds after 24 hours. And the award for winning this race is a nice Rolex Daytona watch, man.
I'm really just busting your chops because that's a Ricky Bobby quote. So all of us that are not really racing enthusiasts.
Dude, it was at Daytona, so shake and bake all day. That side draft was going great. It was awesome. Actually, not really. I mean,
I got a text over the weekend. I got a text from Frank going, "Oh my God, Trent's on Fox."
Which Frank?
Old man Frank.
I hope he listens to this now.
Yeah, he texted me. He was like, "Trent's on Fox. You got to check it out." I was at a kid's birthday party. I couldn't check it out, but that's pretty cool. So you guys were on FS1 and then on the main Fox?
So the first 3 hours of the race, including all the pre-race stuff, was on Fox, like Channel 5, I think.
Okay.
And then it switched back and forth between FS1 and online stream and FS2.
So this thing was 24 hours though?
Yeah, 24-hour race.
All right. How many guys on your team?
Four. So
Nice.
Picture it like a relay race. So every time, like every other time, the car comes into pit lane for fuel and tires, we'll do a driver change.
What does second place at this race mean in racing? Is this a big deal?
Yeah. I mean, nobody remembers who gets second place.
But you know what I mean. I'm just saying, how big of a race was this?
I mean, this is the one of, if not the premier long distance race in America, arguably, in the top 5 for 24-hour races in the world.
How do you feel you did?
I was pretty happy with it. I think for a guy like me coming in with a very experienced team, so inexperienced myself, I had a lot to learn. There was more for me to lose. There was a lot to gain as well, but there was certainly a lot of risk there. If I went out and I did something stupid and I cost us a chance at a good top 3 result or even a win, recovering from that would not be easy.
What separated first from second besides 16 seconds?
A lot of it was just on-track speed, man. Daytona's a track where it's basically one huge engine dyno. So by that I mean the cars that are really good cutting through the air aerodynamically, and they're also good in terms of engine power. They're going to shine around Daytona. We in the Acura NSX, we're really good in the tight, twisty corners. Once we get onto a long straight, our car just makes a lot of downforce, and it's hard for us to overcome that sort of like air barrier. So Daytona's not really the perfect track for that car, but we get to...
When you said air barrier, I think you lost Carl over here.
Yeah, wow.
Lost me when we first started talking.
So what's up next for you?
So 2 weeks, we're down in Sebring testing the same Acura that we just raced in Daytona. And then 2 weeks after that, man, we're right back at it. Track down 2 hours south of Orlando called Sebring. It's basically an area of Florida where, all the, I guess, what do you say, snowbirds go and hang out in the winter and, drink beer at weird bars and stuff like that.
So how long are you in town for?
About 3 weeks now.
So you'll be sparring next week?
Yeah. Dude, I was down tonight.
All right, nobody else was.
Everybody took their hand wraps off for me, so I took that as a no, dude.
It's probably better. You're a little salty.
I am.
He's definitely salty.
No, but this race coming down in Sebring is again one of the kind of premier endurance races in North America, if not the world. 12-hour race on an old abandoned Second World War B-24 air base. So it's bumpy, it's tough on the cars, tough on the drivers, tough place to drive, but I think we'll be pretty good there.
So you definitely have to do some sparring, get the salt out so you're all prepared.
Dude, absolutely. I might need you to hop in there with me. Come on, man. You gotta knock some sense into me.
Did he just call me out? I think he did.
He doesn't know
that was a straight up call out.
Oh my gosh, he's now admitting it's a straight up call out.
Super salty.
This might require videotape.
Oh no.
This might require some video.
I gotta call a Casper. That's what I gotta do.
Wow.
Damn, y'all got like a rivalry or something? What's wrong
Well, I
with
gotta throw him under the bus. You're the one talking, not him. Come on now. He got cracked last night, so not here though.
Poor guy.
But all right,
All right.
throw it back to Carl. I just wanted to catch up with you real quick there.
Yeah, right.
We'll get you back on and we'll talk shop in a little bit. But congrats on the race. I know we're busting you, but it sounds like you guys did some good work.
No, it was good. It was about as good as I think it could have gone, apart from being on the top step. But, hey, man, showed up there prepared. I had some long stints in the car, and being here working with you guys certainly got me ready for that. So,
cool.
Yeah, got to keep it rolling.
Keep it going.
Cool.
All right, Trent. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, for sure. Back to you, Carl.
Yo.
That was like Fox 5 newscasting right there. Trentsman, you've been practicing, buddy. That was good, man.
Dude,
That was good.
Rifle off the sponsors and everything.
So Trent, our reporter for the what's your sport? Like, how would we refer to it if we were doing like commentary?
Racing cars, man.
No, like
the actual name?
Yeah, like what would you call like what you do?
Is it NASCAR?
No.
What is it?
No, it's
so you're not at the top level yet. So you're still a bum.
We'll just call it. Wow.
Yo, it hurt. You see what he like?
Yo. He's like, I'm young.
I can't breathe.
He's like, I'm still young. Give me a break. Come on, I'm working my way in.
Yeah, man. How would you refer to it?
You were struggling. You don't know what your own job is called?
You'll be sports car racing.
There you go.
You don't have an acronym for that? Nothing?
Well, it's IMSA, International Motorsports.
See how easy that was?
Just stick with car racer.
Yeah,
IMSA.
Car race, IMSA. That sounds like a disease.
I know. It sounds like something you got to go to the doctor for.
Seriously, you can stick with IMSA because NASCAR owns us. So there you go.
Oh, so you're like the baby.
So you're owned.
Yeah.
You've been owned.
Yeah.
You owned.
Man.
You don't have to whisper it. Well, you do. We don't. You do.
Is that a bleach spot on your sweater?
Yes.
That's why you're not in NASCAR now, because you walk around like that.
Well, I told you before when I
this is the problem.
Got here, I'm dumb.
If you stand around Carl and I long enough, it's like the dogs get hungry and we just start going. We're chomping at you. It's bad. It's really bad.
This isn't a conversation anymore. This is just verbal.
You guys would fit in well with every race team I've ever worked with.
All right, so maybe we're in the wrong sport.
No, we're not.
Yeah, no. I've seen you drive. You've seen me drive. We don't need
too
that.
Reckless. We're killing everybody on the track.
All right, So thanks for the reminder to not ride right seat with you guys.
Nope.
No, don't do it.
I'm reckless. I can carry.
Yo, you go in the car. You sit in my kid's car seat. That's the safest spot in there.
You might as well.
I might just have to wear my helmet.
You just watch right behind me. I need somebody to be allowed to call the police.
Well, you're the kind of guy to think to go fast, you don't have to use the brakes, which is not a good idea.
I don't need to. Yeah, well, that was fun while
you don't want to crash that nice, ride you got. Come on, man.
Listen, life is life. Car is just a car.
Yeah, fair enough.
There you go. Right. Cars can be replaced.
Yeah,
they can.
Body parts and limbs. That's another story.
Yeah, man. And you got a job to do with those things. So.
All right, Trent. We'll catch you later.
If somebody sign a contract.
Cool. Yeah, if someone signs a contract, then we really have a job to do.
So I just, kind of just called out Tevin Giles on Instagram. No, Twitter. So.
You did?
Yeah. Someone tagged us. He's undefeated fighter too.
I feel like he'd be someone that'll respond.
That's why I did it.
I went on Vitor's Twitter. I don't even think he reads it. And then there would be this weird call out to some like voodoo doctor somewhere, or like there was crazy stuff. Go to Vitor Belfort's Twitter and read the stuff and look at who he's reaching out to.
In English? Or do you have to translate it? Like, did it have to translate?
It's broken English.
No, I'm not doing that. Who's going to struggle for that? It's too much work.
Hey, man, I like what you do. I need some info. That's my Brazilian. It was really bad. I have to practice that before I do it. I know. I think I just offended an entire population of people.
Definitely just jumped the fence and just started letting off heavy shots. That's what you did. You need to make some more of those hoodies. That's what you need.
I know. I need to make hoodies.
You need to. Because I was tempted just to take that one.
No, you're not taking my hoodie.
You wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know.
No, by the time you realize.
I barely wear this one for some reason. I don't know why. I don't really wear one. I know. I'm going to make another one soon. I keep saying that. I've been saying it. I just got to.
Gotta nut up, so bitch.
Nutting up to make a sweatshirt is not. I don't know if they go together that way. Yeah, I know. I'm sitting here. I wish everyone had a visual and could see where the comb is right now.
Bringing it back, baby.
Oh my God.
Bringing it back.
Yeah, if you've been following Carl.
You're lucky I got the fisting thing.
Oh my God.
Dun, dun.
This is the most hair I've ever seen you have.
It's been a while. I think I haven't had this much hair since, I don't know, damn near maybe middle school.
What made you want to grow your hair?
Fuck it. Why not? It's winter. We will just bear it out.
Yo, what's going back to fights real quick. Isn't there a Cage Fury coming up soon?
I don't know. No, there's supposed to be one in March because T was supposed to fight on it. And
he got hurt.
Yeah.
Or sick or something.
I don't know who's
but
the one that.
Something like that sucks. Didn't he have a title fight coming up?
Yeah. No, he had a was it a title?
Yeah, it was the title. He was because he won the last fight. The other guy won that night. They were supposed to fight.
He was in the UFC now. Yeah.
And then I think Ricky's supposed to be on that too. Ricky Mendejas.
He's supposed to be fighting?
I think so. I think he's supposed to. I don't know if they have an opponent for him yet. I don't know. Yeah, I think I forget who was saying something about that, but yeah. I would like to see some of the guys get
The
on.
series supposed to come back.
From what I'm
Summer,
hearing,
right?
summer. I wonder what they're going to do with it.
Hopefully it takes off. I like it better than I like the House.
I haven't watched The Ultimate Fighter as a series in a long time.
Yeah, not truthfully. Nah.
Miocic and Cormier are the coaches, and then they're fighting.
Yeah, so I might watch. No.
I don't care.
I'll watch the fight.
I'll watch the fight. I don't care about
Which
the
weight
show.
class they doing?
Heavyweight. Cormier's going back. He should.
No,
He's
I know.
fat.
I'm talking about the
Oh, the show?
show they do.
Well, Phil
Yeah,
Phil went out, so it's 45. I think it's 45 and 70.
That was a dumbass question.
Yeah, you knew. Yeah.
You just-
Yeah, I think it's 45 and 70. I think they're doing two of them.
If y'all just seen the face of disappointment that he just looked
Yeah.
at. He was like, yeah, you dumbass.
I know. I have to start filming this because there's just too much fuckery being missed. That's a word you gave me,
Yeah,
too.
it was.
You gave me that
It
word.
slides so well off the tongue.
Yeah, there's certain words I've picked up over the years. I picked up ginormous from Pellegrino. That one, you said it all the time, and now I can't let it go. Ginormous.
Oh.
It's not enormous. It's ginormous.
I can't agree with that one.
I know, but I
I don't agree
picked
that
it up,
sounds.
and I just keep saying it.
It sounds awkward coming out of somebody's mouth. Ginormous.
But it's not awkward for me because it's just natural now.
You still look
It may
awkward.
sound it, but it's
The way Your
not.
eyebrows flutter when you say it.
My eyebrows are fluttering
That's
now.
how bad it is.
Wow,
That's how
I have
bad ginormous is.
fluttering eyebrows. That's kind of weird. I don't know how I feel about that comment.
The same way I feel about ginormous.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. Hey, did you think? Wow, I can't speak all of a sudden. You threw me off. Did you take your kid to Mike McIntosh's karate school yet?
No, not yet. I'm still getting in contact and making sure
We gotta set that
plan to
up.
it, yeah. Because she's been waiting on it. Dad, I want to be a ninja. Calm down.
How do you feel about your daughter wanting to train?
I actually like it. I like the discipline aspect of it. I don't ever want her to fight, but I like the discipline and the self-defense of it.
When I look at my son,
And the fitness.
I don't want him to fight. I don't want to do it to him. Like I look at him, I'm like, your face is perfect. Don't do it.
Okay, first of all, relax.
But I don't want to. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't ever want to see a child get beat up, but again,
No.
it's not up to you. It's what he chooses to do. So if he falls in love with it, it's your
No,
fault.
it's his. It's
your
his
fault.
deal.
It's your fault. If he falls in love with it, it's your fault because you introduced him to it.
I feel like we all figure ourselves out. If he figures out for himself and that's what he wants, maybe it's in the genes. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I did it to him on a genetic level, not just on an introduction level. But I do remember him being like 1.5 years old, walking around the living room with his hands raised when Bruce Buffer was calling somebody's name out.
Mine just walk around always in guard, like she's about to punch somebody. I'm like, relax.
Your daughter just wants to fight.
I know,
My kid just
got
wants
that
to
grit.
be famous and win her.
Mine just wants to punch and kick. I pick things up and put them down. That's it.
Did you get an Alexa for your house?
No. No.
I got an
First of all,
Alexa, and it's really funny because my son now, he got into music, and he now has to figure out the band and the name of a song to get Alexa to play it,
Yeah.
which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that's
He
cool.
figures it
It's
out,
definitely good on his side.
but it's really funny because now he's just yelling at Alexa all day to play certain songs. So now it's like this singing,
Tell
dancing,
Alexa to
laughing.
self-destruct to see how
Oh
she
my
responds.
God. Well, I think there's a way you can limit to only certain voices. But my son needs to stop because it's really funny. Because I'll be like, Alexa, play this. And then my son's like, nope. Alexa, play that. Okay. So we listen to the same song over and over and over. He loves Imagine Dragons. And so all we listen to is Imagine Dragons. There's that one song where it's like lightning and thunder. He calls it the fight song for some reason. So he's like, Daddy, it's the fight song. And then he just stomps around the living room and starts doing like Hulk smashes. I'm like, that's not how we fight.
Off the top of my head, I have no idea what you're talking about. Magic Dragon?
Imagine Dragons.
What the hell is that?
They do. Remember the walkout song from my last fight?
No.
You
no,
don't.
how long ago
That was an Imagine Dragons song.
What was the name?
Oh, do you remember that song? I'm on top of the world. Nah, you don't listen to these
Not
things.
even that. It's just that you're.
I can't. I was about to. But see, the thing is, I was about to bust it out, but I'm not going to because this is being recorded, and I want no evidence.
You didn't have to actually like try
I want
to hard
no
nod. You
evidence.
could have just said the words.
I'm trying to remember.
You don't even know the words. Look at you.
Do you know the one is breathing out, breathing in the chemicals? You know that song? And then they did the video with. You probably don't watch videos anymore because nobody does. But imagine you'll know who they are.
I watch videos.
Just look up Imagine Dragons on your phone when we get out of here, and they'll be like, "Dumbass could have just told me this one." But I know you're not. Yeah, but my kid's like obsessed with them. He knows the words to most of their songs, so he sits there and he sings them all day now. It's really funny.
Yep. I try to get my kid into Harry Potter.
You tried to?
I'm trying.
Why?
Just
I've never seen it.
It's an amazing fucking trilogy.
I've never seen it.
It's not trilogy. It's like 8 of them, and they're all good.
What is so interesting about it? Because people talk about it, like people I know that are into it, they're like obsessed with it.
I'm not obsessed, but I really like it.
What do you think of Black Panther? I heard it's good.
I haven't seen it.
I know, but I've heard. What do you think about it? Are you excited about it?
Yeah, it's a good. Like, I love Marvel, so I can't wait for another. I always was a Black Panther fan, so I can't wait for it.
And the guy they have playing him, he's pretty cool.
Yeah, see what they do. And when he had him in the last Avengers, that he did a phenomenal job.
That Captain America one was good.
Yeah,
that was really good.
That was a phenomenal job. So see what they do, because Marvels do be fucking up stuff. So
I think Captain Marvel's going to be good. I don't care about the language. I think Captain Marvel. Whatever. That's the one with the chick, Captain Marvel.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's going to be good too. They say that one's going to change everything. You know what's really funny with fighters? I find that more fighters than not are really like game geeks and into all this stuff.
That's because games let us do what we really want to do. Like, if you ever noticed that most fighters play extremely violent games.
Well, you also have a lot of. I'm not going to say you have a lot of free time, but you have different free time. When everyone else is at work, it tends to be when you're resting.
Yeah.
Because you do your work early and late.
Yeah. So we have like a good 2 to 3 hours of rest. So we're not going to just lay in bed and watch. Because we watch shows, like, I'll finish a series in like 2 days.
When Call of Duty was big, that was the one in the afternoon.
Really big.
Well, I don't know anymore because I don't have days for it.
Because you sucked at it, so stop playing.
No, I was good. But you know who? Oh, I'm still mad about this. It's actually, there's 2 parts to this story. Nick Perenni.
Yeah.
Do you remember when he was killing us all in Call of Duty?
He wasn't killing me.
Oh my God, he was an assassin. He would find out when I was playing and literally alive dead. I couldn't win. He would just sit there and just snipe me over and over and over and over and over and then talk shit and make fun of me. I wanted to kill him.
That's how I know you sucked.
He was really good.
No, you just really sucked.
He was really good. And then the other one with that one was he had to stop doing that because he was telling me that he was coming in to train, and then I would hop on and I would see he's playing, and then I would go to the gym, and then he wouldn't show up, and I'd be like, hey man, what happened in training? He go, I was really busy. I'd do something. My mom was like, oh really? You playing Call of Duty with your mom too then? And he oh shit.
See what happened?
Caught me. Caught me.
He should have had a better excuse. I left my Xbox on.
Yeah, no, I used to go into the game and actually see him playing.
Oh, so you were a weirdo.
Yeah, I stalked him. Well, he had a fight coming up. That's when he fought that 7-foot tall guy. Were you around when he fought that guy?
No.
That was the one where they told me that he was fighting a 5'10" right-handed guy with no fights, and we show up, and the guy was 6'7", lefty, and had like 15 fights.
They don't care.
New York.
They really don't care. Hey, you gotta be under. Got to be under 205. Okay, we show up. The guy tells me, yeah, they told me to come in like 215.
Oh, what? Yeah, the Croatian kid he was like 221.
I'm like, what?
Yes, I forgot about that one. And then I had one fight with Jay Titlebaum. We showed up, and it was a title fight. And Jay's 1 pound over because of the weight allowance. The other kid's 6 pounds over. And they say, yeah, it's a 6 pound weight allowance. I'm like, so basically you're fighting a weight class up, but calling it the one below. Like, that's ridiculous. 6 pounds? What are you talking about?
I said, fuck it. That's what it was.
And then that fight, too, 3rd round, it's over. And they stop the fight. And I'm like, wait a minute. It's a 5-round fight. And they're like, no, it's a 3-round fight. The other side knew it was 3 rounds. They told us it was 5 rounds. Jay lost the first 2, won the 3rd because we were fighting a 5-round pace.
Yeah.
And so he's starting to roll, and then they're like, nope, it's over. What?
Gotcha.
But I'll tell you the shady shit on that one. They took us in the back afterwards to calm me down. They think this is going to calm me down. They go, basically, next show, we'll give you anyone you want, and it'll be for a title. We'll find you someone that's never fought before. And I just looked at him like, okay, so you just fucked us. And you're telling us that to make us feel better, you're going to fuck somebody else. I don't want to fuck anybody else.
You know what?
I wanted to beat this guy. I wanted to beat this guy. They didn't last too long. That show went out.
Yeah.
That was nobody we know. That was fights that they used to have in Brooklyn, in like the Russian section of Brooklyn, and it was this crazy Russian guy used to do fights in the basement. I think it was called Strike Zone, Strike something, and we used to go to their shows.
Strike-ish.
They used to put good fights on though, but then it got really weird, and it was USMTA who their rules. I mean, they would allow anything. They didn't give a shit.
You came in here with throwing knives, you are okay.
Yeah, that's like in Delaware. You go fight in Delaware, I swear they would let guys knife fight. I mean, it was just
that's what they have. That's what they have the group fighting at. So when I fought in Maryland,
group fighting.
Yeah, when it's like 3 against 3 and they have like the levels.
Oh, stop it! That's Russia.
I would do that.
Those.
I have me, Corey, and Rex. It would murder somebody.
Oh my god!
They wouldn't even know what happened.
I still saw a video of a guy in Russia doing those fights, and a guy had caught him in a guillotine, and the other guy went for. So the guy's stuck in the guillotine,
and he jumps off,
and he decides to try and double leg his way out of it off of an obstacle, and gets pile drived headfirst into the ground. And then they took him out with a neck brace on a stretcher. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty stupid. You should have went the opposite direction.
Yeah, well, did you ever see the straight up like 12-on-12 team fights? Those are so stupid. But the minute you get one up, then it's 2-on-1, and then it's 3-on-1, then it's 4-on-1, and then it's 12-on-1, and it just goes from there. So whoever wins the first fight sweeps out the rest of the guys. It's so bad.
So the first 30 to 40 seconds is the real fight, and after that, it's just a slaughter.
It was funny. I was talking to Brian Amber this morning, and we were just talking Baltimore stuff because he's a Maryland guy. And I was like, yeah, I remember North Ave, and it's a real dangerous street. And I was like, yeah, I was walking home one night, and I got stabbed on North Ave, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, it's kind of freaking me out how casual you just said, yeah, that's where I was stabbed.
That's life, man. I was stabbed.
It's like I lived in Baltimore. I understood North Ave. I was drinking too much, and I got jumped by 2 guys, and one guy stabbed me in the arm. So I walked away from it all right. I won.
It's only fun if you survive.
Yeah, if you can laugh about it later.
Yeah, if not, then boo, it sucks.
Have you ever been stabbed?
Nope.
You been shot?
Nope.
Good. All right.
And if I was,
knock on wood.
Tell anybody.
Why not?
Keep that shit to
yourself. Late. Well, you're still young. You're not like me going, it's not 20 years ago. The statute of limitations is still there for you.
Yeah, so we're not speaking on anything.
Talking about hood stuff.
I'm an angel.
Yeah, right. Yeah. The angel of death over here.
Score and a great attitude of life.
So has life stayed rather positive?
No, actually my life is extremely negative.
Why do you say that?
As you get more fame, you get put in more situations that you shouldn't be put into, and it causes friction between friends and family. So I've lost a couple of friends.
How's family a problem then?
Family wants more than friends do.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I haven't had to. I haven't been faced with anything like that. You know me though. I'm a little bit of a island in the middle of the world. Yeah. My family's my wife and my son and stuff. We don't interact that way.
Starting to distance myself from everything. Just more of a solo. Just be changing circles, and that's mostly everything. Success
does that though. Yeah. Because if you don't change the circle while you're successful, that circle's going to pull you down.
Yeah. So it is what it is. It's life.
You having trouble staying motivated training when nobody's freaking signing?
Nah, not really. Motivation is more of a personal thing for me, not an outer thing. So signing is just gonna be a plus.
I've seen there was a shift. I can't pinpoint exactly when, but there was definitely a shift where you went from you would train because you had to achieve something to where training became your job. That's what you do now.
Yeah.
So there's no question about are you going to do something. It's just what are you going to do.
How much of it are you going to do? That's what I try to do. I try not to overdo it too fast. Because me and Corey talked about this before. We had like a 6-month camp.
It was too much.
Yeah, and our bodies were jacked.
You guys killed each other.
Yeah, we were jacked from that. So
and you tried to kill each other last Saturday. Yeah. I have to throw that out. That was ridiculous. That was crazy.
That's brotherly love.
Yeah. Okay.
Bloody brotherly love. But yeah, trying to train smarter now, not just hard. Like I always train hard now to keep the body intact, because now more nicks and bangs can turn into.
I feel like the pace that you're going now, it's not going to be hard to just ratchet it up for a short amount of time and be fight ready.
Yeah, not at all. Like we always train at a high pace, like higher than average pace. So it's always push, and then you take to that next level. Like, oh, he's really going crazy. So,
yeah. So instead of doing 2 pad sessions, we do 3. Yeah. Instead of sparring 1.5 times, you get 3, and you do that extra day of stuff, you know. Yeah, but it's just you could add a day or two, and you're there.
Change, yeah.
It's just now it's flipping a switch versus having to do the work.
Yeah. Now it's not really a job, it's fun.
Yeah.
Like that's what, like, after that 6 months of hard training kind of got like stressful, like, I gotta do this. I'm gonna do it regardless.
And we had no idea what the end was gonna bring.
Yeah, so it's like, so much pressure. Now it's like you're enjoying trying to learn new things, trying to sharpen other things, just evolving as much as possible.
What I like, what's really been fun about the process as of late is that a lot of times when guys are fighting, especially on the way up when your experience is lower, you have to retrain a lot of things every time, so you don't build as quickly. But now the things that we train in a camp, they stick and they don't go away, and now we're just adding more and more and more and more and more. So the blade's getting sharper. It's not like it's getting dull because of too much time off or lack of focus. It's just rolling from one thing to the next, and we get to keep adding different players into it, different things, moving different angles. So again, anybody who thinks they're going to see the same thing, sorry guys, it's going to be a little bit different.
That's how I tell people. Like, someone asked me in the other interview, how do you train for fights? Do you watch a lot of videos on your guy? No. First of all, you can't watch videos because everybody's evolving. So last video, he's not going to be the same fighter when he walks in.
Nope.
I'll watch maybe 1-2 fights, see what kind of habits he had, but I'm not going to focus on that fighter because he's not them.
It's funny, I was talking to Phil. We got this kid comes through, Phil Caracapo. He's actually fighting for a Rand Combat belt March 2nd, but he put a sparring video up. And I said, dude, stop it. Don't put any of that stuff up. He is at a point where the stuff that you see gives stuff away a bit.
Yeah.
And I told him straight up. I was like, with Carl, it's different. I literally put every single training session we do online, and I dare you to beat him. I dare you to beat him. It's different. That's the levels to it thing.
Yeah.
Where some people are still working their way into their fight self, where I think you're not fully formed into things, but you are very much in a zone where your foundation is set, and now you're just adding to your foundation. And two, when you have certain things that you're really good at, this is anybody. That's the thing we were talking about before. When, if you're a one-trick pony at certain things, it doesn't matter if people know, because you do it so well. Go ahead, try me. I'm still going to beat you with it. And that's where I feel like we have a little bit of the audacity factor with us. And it's like, hey, man.
That's why I tell people all the time, they haven't really seen me fight because I haven't had anybody stand there and really try to fight me.
Haven't anyone have to pull it out of you yet.
Yeah, so it's like I just get to do what I want.
Yep.
I'm always looking, like I tell you all the time, I'm always looking for the person who's going to try to fuck me up because that's what I like. Because that's what I want to see what I'm capable of, and that's the person who's going to push it out of me. I get pushed a lot in practice with Corey and Rex and them, but still, there's nothing like a fight. Someone push you in a fight. We have to bite down on your mouthpiece and really, really take that next level mentally and physically. And
all this tribal shit with everybody and their cliques protecting themselves too. We'll fight anybody.
That's how I am. I'll fight anybody.
We're respectful of the people that are good to us. Definitely. I'm not saying that. Like, there is no disrespect in this.
Disrespect.
But this is a fight sport.
I'm super direct, especially I'm super direct and I'm not shady about anything. So if I say anything and it came from my mouth, I'll say it again.
Yeah.
If I didn't say it, I'm not going to claim I said it just because it sounds good. So.
Yeah, we had a little bit of stress because our manager he gets paid to find the opportunity.
Exactly. So you can't be mad at him. It was just misinformed.
So Dave Branch he's on the card for Orlando.
Yeah.
And our manager threw it out there. So on Friday, like on a Friday, he's like, "Hey, Branch doesn't have a fight. Why didn't Carl fight him after you were sparring with him on Thursday?"
so it made me look like the asshole.
Yeah,
but
I could understand why Branch might get a little pissed off about that.
I can understand it. That's shiesty stuff, and that's just not my lane.
But if you guys have the conversation, that's different. I mean, you and Corey, when you were looking at 205, and Corey were, hey, if there was something substantial on the line and we're in that spot,
we don't have to fight.
Why the fuck would we not do it?
Me and Rex had the same conversation. The same thing with Branch. Branch is a real dude. Like,
you guys just didn't have the conversation. Somebody started that without us.
I don't know him that well, but I can tell from from the way he holds himself, much respect to him. But if the UFC told us we had to fight, then we'll fight. But otherwise, we're going to just keep it as a training partners, and it is what it is.
When it comes down to having to fight somebody that you may have a relationship with, seriously, the only reason you guys should ever fight would be for something substantial. Yeah. There is no reason to fight mid-card against somebody you're close with. There's not a point to it. Game. It better be a main event for a lot of money and a title shot or a title or something. Like, if your buddy's got the belt and you guys agreed to go for it, different story.
Exactly.
And I don't even think guys have the ability to do that, though, mentally. A lot of guys get so weird about that.
Yeah, you got to think what was it, Rashad Evans and John Jones had that issue.
Yeah. So, Rashad left. I mean, the Black Zillions were created because Rashad left. Yeah. Koscheck left because George St. Pierre came to the camp.
With, who was it from the Black Zillions kickboxer who just got knocked out by Nagano?
Oh, Overeem.
Overeem and other dude.
And, the Russian guy.
Yeah. So,
Arlovsky.
Yeah, Arlovsky. They was training partners.
Yep.
What the fuck was that? The table.
Not good. But that's all. I can understand it. You know where it gets tricky from the coaching perspective? If I've got a really big team, that shit's just going to happen. But where the separation's going to occur
is who you pick to.
Yeah. It's really hard to figure that out in a balanced way.
As Jackson did it before. Jackson said, I'm not going to be in anybody's corner.
Yeah.
So he did it the best way he could without burning any bridges, even though he burned some bridges.
ATT's got to have that problem. Their team's that's a big team.
ATT, and there's mad of them.
And there's a lot of schools, there's a lot of guys.
Yeah, so I don't think they really care at this point. Like,
they have to run into each other.
Yeah, ATT.
But they have so many coaches too.
Yeah,
it's not like they have one head coach that's in everybody's corner.
Yeah, so it's like
that's different. But I can understand how it could be issues, but at the end of the day, you and I both have the same opinion about it. You've got to make enough money and enough noise in this career to take care of yourself past your career. And you know what? Sometimes you might have to do something that's a little stressful.
Yeah, be smart and try not to get pulled in so many different directions. Because that's what happens to a lot of fighters too. They get like the big check and then they get pulled everywhere because they've got to get famous, and then next you know, they're broke.
And then also when sometimes you'll get that tribal stuff. The tribe will start pulling you in ways that's not really for your benefit. It's for their benefit. And then that's the one, good coaches give a shit about their people first and they put their name and their everything aside. The one that kills me is when you get the shitty coach who cares more about their reputation than they do about what's best for the athlete. And with coaching, I've been coaching for 20 years plus. I've had the gym for 20 years, but I've been coaching 20 plus, and I'll be able to go another 20. Fighters have a small window. You got to do what's best for them. There'll be more fighters. Yeah. Chill. Like, you'll be good. Be patient. Work your way through it.
People have lost patience, especially in this day and age. Patience isn't a commodity. Like, you don't run into many people with patience. They want it now.
I think that...
And that's the problem with a lot of young fighters. They want it now.
I was just going to say the access to athletes in MMA makes it even worse because MMA is the most accessible sport there is.
Yeah. And the bad thing about it is that it's getting watered down. Because so many MMA fighters, there's not that many people who...
But it's prize fighting.
One discipline and then transfer into MMA.
You can't walk into a gym and try out for the NFL within a couple of years as an adult. Yeah. Where in MMA, if you can knock a string of people out, you've got a shot.
Yeah, but that's fighting. There's a difference.
The owner of the Giants doesn't sit at a high school game and give away a contract. Dana White goes to regional shows as part of his own reality series, giving guys opportunities to fight.
Yeah, but again, a lot of those guys... Well, from Jersey, I know, because I don't really follow anybody else. But a lot of guys from Jersey got signed and did their thing. Let's say Rude Boy, he got signed from the show.
But I'm not disrespecting the process. I'm just saying that it's different than any other opportunity. So that's why.
But I think boxing is even worse because boxing guys come out of nowhere.
Yes.
Like you see guys with like 30 fights. Like where did he come from? Who know? Like and then.
But boxing's still more of a system. You can still go to the Olympics.
There's so many, But how many people, like, if you watch documentaries, not that many people go to the Olympics.
No. Not anymore.
Yeah, not
it's
anymore.
different. It's changed.
Everybody, they say it's the Floyd Mayweather effect. Everybody sees the money and cars and everything, and then wants to jump right into it, not knowing that Floyd went to the Olympics. Floyd.
Who's a young up-and-coming boxer that went through a system that didn't just pop out of nowhere? Lomachenko.
No? Yeah,
He came out of the system, man. He came out of the Soviet boxing system.
Forgot his name. Another dude from Jersey. Young kid. He came second in the Olympics. Forgot his name.
But did he do anything as a pro?
Yeah, he's undefeated as a pro right now.
Okay. So I mean, there's still a path there, and the politics in boxing is very different.
Yeah.
I don't care what
there's so many umbrellas you can come under though. Boxing, WBA, WBO.
Yeah. With MMA, being associated with a strong team can help you to a degree, but you're not going to get gimme fights like in boxing. You could fight 30 fights before you actually fight anybody.
Exactly.
MMA,
a lot of people get exposed.
But in MMA, every fight's a fight once you're in the UFC level. Yeah. In the regional level, I guess, but still, everybody. I mean, wrestlers used to be the ones that they always had the ability to take you down and ground you out no matter what. Where MMA, it is a little bit different. Where, boxing, again, you can be a high-level boxer with a strong style. Everyone's doing the same thing. Where MMA, that's really tough. You can be giving guys, but still, you get the random guy who's just way better than you at something, and you're fighting in 4-ounce gloves, and you don't have you only have 3 5s. You don't have 15 rounds to do work. I mean, it's a whole different thing.
A lot of pressure in there.
Yeah, that's the pressure. I think more fighters get broken by the pressure than they do by the physicality of the sport.
Pressure either makes a diamond or it crumbles. So it's up to you.
It was funny. We were talking this morning about Generation S, basically, where you had all these guys that were on steroids, and one of the things you see the injury rates in MMA right now are really high.
Really high. But
still, my question on that one is, if you look at the amount of fighters in MMA today versus the amount of fighters at other times, is the percentage of athletes injured higher or lower today?
I think it's lower, truthfully, just because of all the medicines and different type of doctors and treatments. All y'all had was ice baths back in the day. Now you got cryo, like different types of physical therapy.
Well, I think guys used to get hurt because of dumb shit, where guys today, in a lot of ways, guys that came out of that generation, a lot of them are coaches now that are coaching guys where overuse injuries are occurring because they were enhanced in their time and they could do stuff. Their recovery times were shorter. The duration they could go was longer. So the intensity level was different, where now you can't push a guy that's clean the same way you can as a guy that's on a full chemical package. Yeah. You have to cycle it differently.
Yeah, well, that's
the training, not the drugs.
That comes with I don't know what that comes with. It comes with.
But the high level guys are actually using professionals that are educated. So that's why you see a young group of nutritionists, a young group of strength and conditioning people that are educated, that are coming from a scientific approach instead of the juiced up bro science approach, which a lot of us went through.
There's the Rocky approach and the New Age approach.
And I mean, for myself, I saw the damage that I did to myself, and I modified the majority of my training to help guys diminish the damage.
I think you need to have a good mix of the Rocky and the New School. You can't just do New School because you won't be ready for
the reality of actually fighting.
Yeah, you won't be ready for
It's grit, man.
Yeah, you won't be ready for that grind.
Ngannou, they were all pushing him like he was a science experiment. Yeah. He wasn't gritty enough to. He survived.
He was gritty, but he just wasn't experienced enough.
He wasn't fight gritty. He was life gritty.
Yeah.
Like that dude, mentally strong from being homeless to being a championship contender, but he wasn't physically gritty. Yeah. He didn't have the ability to deal with that wrestling grind that Miocic had. Yeah. That was a technical thing, but that was also just a pure grittiness. Ngannou was just like, holy shit, what did I just get hit with? But
technical and a whole lot of hand movement.
That's why a lot of people are changing up how they go about sparring, and I'm sorry.
You need to spar.
You got to take the risk of the damage. You got to get the rounds in.
You got to spar. There is a such thing as overdoing it. Like, you shouldn't be sparring 4 to 5 times. You shouldn't be sparring every night. I know some people who do that. but you definitely need hard sparring.
It also it's your style. You don't get hit in that. You personally, stylistically, can spar more than most because your body will take damage, but you really don't take a lot of head damage.
Nah, I try to keep my face pretty. So
yeah.
Broken bones on here.
I had a lot of headaches, and that was why it was just.
I think the worst thing I really get is I might get a headache one time
and
time.
That's because you get slammed on your head.
Slammed on my head, or we train to stay in the pocket. And
yeah, we're trying something different.
But most thing I think is I get caught with a random punch and I can't close my mouth for a couple of days. That's probably the worst thing.
But you're not getting blunt trauma over and over and over again like some guys do.
I'm not just standing and just let you punch me in the face.
There are places we go and we see sparring and we see guys blocking with their face, and they're doing it almost as a badge of courage. And I'm like, man, that's just a short career and a really uncomfortable old age.
Gotta be smart. Gotta be smart in all aspects.
I forget who I was talking to about that. I think it was Mike Polano because he's around my age. It's funny. The head trauma definitely adds up. I can't remember what I had for breakfast, but I can tell you, second by second, what I did 20 years ago. It's the weirdest thing. Brain's different. You're not there yet.
I'm not trying to
No. No.
With fighting, memory loss is part of the sport. Because I have short-term memory loss. I can't remember people's names.
Yeah, but you also are ADHD, so.
That too, but that
the kickboxing did it.
Yeah,
the kickboxing gave you.
Yeah, because kickboxing,
that was different.
You gotta be.
That's different.
Able to stand and take that.
And those big ass gloves.
So I think that's what made.
Keep doing that.
That's because I didn't know what did it the first time. I just made notes. But
now you know.
Yeah, but you needed to do that. Like that, it's a good and bad. It made my body way tougher than most people.
Yo, I am not saying it was a. I am saying it was a physically bad thing, but a necessity to create the athlete that you are.
Yes, definitely.
And I think it's what separates you from a lot of the guys that you do work with. People do not understand. The one MMA guys that have only done MMA piss me off a little bit when they start talking about how tough they think they are because of the little gloves. I'm like, you know what? Put the big gloves on. Take your takedowns away. Take your clinch away. Stand with someone who only does that. Bang out for a couple rounds, and then you tell me what's tougher.
Exactly. Most people don't understand that, and I just laugh. Like there's no point to arguing. You can't argue with someone who doesn't know.
Having someone wrestle fuck you is way different than getting worked over on your feet.
Wrestle fucking is tiring. It doesn't hurt. It just drains shit out.
When someone's using your liver like a speed bag, that's just the worst.
Most people don't realize that kickboxing there is no rest. In MMA, there's a lot of resting, a lot of bouncing, even with wrestling and clinching up, you don't take a lot of damage.
And no one's kicking you in the leg.
Yeah, kickboxing, there ain't no rest. You can try to run, but a leg will still reach you.
So guys that grapple hard, even guys that do jiu-jitsu hard or wrestle hard, the one thing about that is you're not hitting a guy in a kill spot. You're not punching him in the solar plexus. You're not setting up a shot to the liver. You're not hitting him in the nose, in the eye, in the temple, in the jaw. Yeah. You're not going for the knockout. You're going for the grind out, the pin, the control factor. Where kickboxing is, I'm going to systematically destroy you. I'm going to kick you in the leg until the nerves don't work.
Kick you in the solar plex, so you can't breathe.
And the thing with leg kicks, people think because they kick someone in the leg, it's a leg kick. People that know how to leg kick don't just smack you in the leg with their leg. They kick you in the nerve cluster right above the knee. Yes.
Hit you on the inside of the leg, so now you can't throw your jab.
Or they kneecap you and they put a chunk on your shin, or their shins are so dead that they don't care what they hit, so they hit you with everything they've got.
Or they're really experiencing assholes and they'll tie clinch you and won't even knee your body, they'll knee your legs.
Yes.
And that's even worse.
And I mean, you see these things being done in MMA, but because of the amount of things you can do, you don't see the same amount of it. You want to know the one? Did you watch Rampage versus Sonnen?
No. Man,
Rampage. He got wrestle fucked in that fight, but he was on his back throwing elbows to Sonnen's thigh. Sonnen's in half guard with Rampage on his back. Rampage was dropping mad elbows on Chun, like on the when the legs up by the head. Yeah. He was just dropping elbow after elbow, and I was like, man, he is limping tomorrow. He was taking chunks out of his thigh. That was a good move. What do you think of that low leg kick a lot of people are talking about? People kicking the calf and stuff.
I do that a lot. Most people don't realize that. I do it a lot. And it stops a lot of movement. It's like, the thing about thigh kicks is that there's a lot of room for error.
And you got to throw a lot of them.
Yeah. calf kicks, that part of your body is not used to taking any type of impact. So if you can get that off a couple times,
it works.
Yeah, they'll have to switch stance, or they won't be able to use that leg.
I used to do it almost like a sweep. Yeah. So I would go for a sweep, but if I couldn't get the sweep, I would shin them in the calf. Yeah. And you do it a couple times, then they change stance on you.
Notice the change stance, and they try to bounce it off.
Yeah.
Most people don't even know how to block that because they're not used to taking it.
Well, the thing about it is guys have to start picking it up, and then it totally throws off their rhythm, and then they're getting cracked with other things, not knowing. I honestly, I don't know. That calf kick's a hard one to think about strategically. How are you going to block it? I mean, more than anything, I'm going to deter him from doing it.
The only thing you can do is shin on shin.
Yeah.
Like, just turn your shin out and just let him bang on both.
Because you can't kneecap him because it's too low.
Yeah, so you got both. We're both going to be hurt.
Yeah. That's the one where the guy who just kind of biting down saying, fuck it, I'm going to get it.
That's what happened with the I didn't watch the fight, but from what I read, who was the other fight, the Rampage and Sonny? They took away the main event and made him the co-main.
Oh, Lima and Rory.
Lima did that to Rory. Like, Rory couldn't stand.
Was destroyed.
He still won because
he's a zombie. He's a zombie. That's why he won.
He couldn't stand. Like, you can tell. You see it in the pictures. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah, that was a crazy fight. That was a close fight.
It was. I think they should get a rematch. Definitely.
Yeah. For sure. Yo, did you see the sucker punch dude on the last UFC card with the body shot knockout? That straight punch down the pipe, hit the guy in the solar plexus? Did you see that?
Yeah, I seen that.
Ooh, that was pretty. That was pretty.
I think I maybe seen that 3 times in like the last 4 or 5
Little glove straight down the pipe to the body. People don't have. I mean, people do not understand how much that hurts.
It's like a point because
that's
just imagining it. Like, if you're not doing your ab work.
Well, think about it, though. You don't expect it, so you're kind of relaxed.
Yeah.
They catch you breathing in.
And off your kick. So your body's extended.
And your abs aren't really in the right spot.
That's breaking something.
That's a bad one. You know, the one that's like in boxing, I used to have this boxing coach say, always go X to the Y. Did you ever have a coach yell that at you? That was like an old boxing term. And so when you were having trouble punching somebody in the face, you would punch them dead center in the chest to say X to the Y. And so you basically throw to the body. And if guys were slipping and moving a lot of times, instead of hitting the chest, you catch them in the face. But I see that opportunity in MMA a lot, especially guys that stand tall and they don't really turn so much on their leg kick. When they just kind of slap the leg out, that shot there. Like, you can really set that up. And off the jab, too. You do a push jab, straightening a guy up, then go to the body, then come back to the head. We're getting a little technical there, but that punch is a good punch that's there.
It's definitely underrated. That's underrated. T kicks underrated.
Body shots are, and
you can see what Eddie did to.
I was going there too.
Gaethje. Like, Gaethje wasn't ready for that. Nobody expected that.
That
took everything.
That changed everything.
Yeah.
I know with body shots though, a lot of guys don't go to the body because they feel naked. Because you feel like your head's just hanging out there. But if you're throwing 3 or 4,
they feel like it's not doing enough damage.
Unless you know. Body punchers. No.
Yeah, like people like immediate damage. That's why they call it headhunting. They like to see the blood. They like to see the swollen eyes because the face is more fragile. They think it's more fragile than the body, not knowing that the liver, kidneys, spleen.
But you work the body.
Yeah, I love punching people in the body.
But you're a body shot guy.
Yeah.
Guys that work the body and know the damage that they're doing, that's a different level of punching.
That's because you got to be able to get the right angles and
you've got to be comfortable inside. You got to be able to move your head. It's different. The European boxing style, that upright long style, those guys can't go to the body.
Not at all. They put yourself in a position that you can't. That's more of an American style.
The Americans adopted that though. That used to be strictly the European Olympic style. They used to stay real long and tall, but then the Americans started to adopt that because trying to stay viable on that side. And then again. Mayweather really, I think, changed the speed factor where guys got really narrow and they relied on that really fast jab and counter hook. And that's where the strength and conditioning side came in. Guys got that quick trigger thing going really, super fast.
Hard cross. But most people underestimate Mayweather's timing. Because he's one person who does one thing to the same, like he's been doing the same thing to everybody.
You can't beat him.
He's been doing the same thing. You can watch videos and get in front of him. Oh, I didn't know that.
He'll tell you what he's going to do and you can't stop it.
Exactly.
And that's the mastery of what he does. I honestly, I don't know what somebody could do.
The only person who could be is probably Lomachenko. And that's if they were the same size, because Mayweather's bigger than him.
Yeah,
It's just the movement, because Mayweather moves, but he doesn't move like that.
But even on that regard, the hard part on that's still going to be with Lomachenko. All that movement, I feel like Mayweather would touch more. Because Lomachenko's defense would be good, but I think that I don't know if his movement style would give him enough opportunities to score points.
Yeah, but his movement style, he would catch Mayweather in between. Because he's the type to make you throw your best shot. Like the lefty. The lefty fights like Mayweather. Whole bunch of shoulder roll, head dipping. And using his legs to get away. And you see what he did to him.
Yeah.
Rigondeaux.
Yeah.
Rigondeaux fights like Mayweather, but lefty style. He murdered him. Rigondeaux looked like an amateur.
Yeah, everyone always said that you need to make a dirty fight against Mayweather, but the dirtier the fights got,
he likes it.
He liked it.
He likes it because you open up way more.
And then you made him look like a powerful fighter.
Yeah, you need to outmove him. That's pretty much what it is.
I look at Frank Yeager a lot of ways like that, where I don't think Frankie, if he was going to hit a punch meter, I don't think he would be hitting that hard. No. But he walks you into his punches, so you literally run into it. So he can triple and quadruple his power by getting you on the timing.
That's how he knocked Mendez out, by punching him in the nose. You know how hard you got to hit somebody to knock him out from the nose, huh?
Yo, Gray Maynard, when he dropped Maynard, holy shit. He got Maynard coming over the middle and decapitated him. I mean, that's like, I look at it like in football, the guy going over the middle and he jumps up and he jumps to grab that ball and he's like, oh shit, I hope someone's not going to green me right now. Yeah.
Yes, they are.
And that's when you get somebody, you get them to cross over that middle and they don't see your counter coming. That's the sweet spot.
That's the sweet spot.
You hit hard regardless, so you don't have to get that, but if you do, that's when people die.
I think I hit moderately.
No, you hit hard. There's nobody that has sparred with you that would ever use moderate in the power in your hand. You hit really hard.
I think I kick hard.
No, you punch hard. Trust me, I've been hit by.
That's probably why I'm trying to take people's heads off, because in my mind, I don't think I'm hitting you hard.
I know. It's like I don't. Okay, so here's the thing with hard. There are people that I've been hit hard. It's the feeling of that hard though. Like there's weight to a lot of guys' hits. So when someone hits me hard, I don't know. It's hard to describe. It's like you get hit and you feel it compress and you move. There are other guys that there's that, and then there's this cracking, sharp pain. You have that. You've got like when you hit me in the head, it wasn't like, okay, I got punched in the face. It was like, holy shit, that really hurt. Like I don't want that to ever happen again. Like it was different. I had another dude, Mark Baracole, who used to train with us. Mark was a 170 pounder. He was like 5'5", 5'6". He was like a short, heavy dude. We all know it. We have the pictures on the wall. He would throw a punch. His gut's going one way. His punch is going the other. Like he was a big boy. He had a lot of trouble making weight too. He walked around at like 190 pounds. It was crazy. Short, heavy Costa Rican dude. And I only said Costa Rican dude fat because he ate a lot of rice and beans. But he would hit. And it was lights out. Like he would tap you and it would be lights out. I'll never forget sparring with him. And we had big gloves on. And it went to the ground. And he hit me like 4 times. I went out. And then he hit me and I woke up. Then he hit me and I went out. And then he hit me and I woke up. And then I tied him up. And I was like, holy shit. I can't believe it. He didn't even realize. Because I tied him up and he's trying and the round was over. I was like, I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I went to sleep and woke up a bunch of times. And then I watched the video because I had one of the guys filming it, and I watched. And I was like, holy shit, he really knocked me out and then woke me up. I couldn't believe it. It was crazy. And then a couple fights. His first fight, he hit this dude, and this guy's head like exploded. He hit this dude in the face. His lip exploded. His teeth were loose. And then the dude just went straight to grappling, and then Mark choked him out. He was so rocked in the punch. His next pro fight, he knocked a guy out in 14 seconds. And then his next fight, he fought guy went to the UFC off of that fight too. Oh, my God, I can't remember him. What was his name? I can't remember, but he killed Mark on wrestling. Mark couldn't pull the trigger on this dude, and he just kept taking him down. So Mark's pro debut, he went into this Beast of the Northeast tournament. He had to win 3 fights in 3 months to be the Beast, and he made it to the finals. And he just got killed on the wrestling in the finals. And then he had a couple more fights on his career. And basically the deal was if he touched anyone, they were gone. But if he couldn't touch him, they took him down. So if he got taken down, he got beat. But if it was on his feet, they got knocked out in the first round. He knocked the kid out from Tiger Schulman. It's one of the scariest knockouts I ever saw. He hit this kid with a floating hook. Like immediately. This kid just kind of walked out. Mark just floated a hook up there. And this dude collapsed. It looked like a puppet who had its strings cut. It was scary. Then the dude was out. Like, that was one of those ones where like, oh, shit, he's actually not up yet.
That's when you start yelling out, he's a killer. He's a killer.
Yeah, I mean, you don't see a lot of knockouts where guys go, like, over Ngannou out. That was bad. Oh, boy. But, yeah, Mark did 2 of those. And I'll never forget, he hit one dude. The guy was out for, like, 3 minutes, and then he was complaining that they stopped the fight early. People were like, you were knocked out. He was, no, I was in guard. It's like, no, you were out. No, I pulled guard. We were good. They're like, dude, you're out. Then somebody pulled their phone out and showed him, and he was like, oh, I don't remember any of that.
That's what happens. You lose that whole everything.
Well, you had that one fight in Virginia.
Which one?
The one where you got put down a couple times.
Put down.
You couldn't remember much of that fight.
Oh, that's why I put him down the first time. He put me down.
Yeah.
No, I got put down once. I almost went down.
You sat on the ropes for a second.
Yeah, hey, listen.
Oh boy.
Listen, but I didn't go down. That's what's called ring experience.
Yeah, that was crazy. I actually thought you won that fight, but whatever.
Yeah.
Because you both dropped each other, and if you go by glory rules, you won that fight.
You go by contact and everything. He wasn't hitting me that much, but again,
he just caught you at the end. Whatever.
But he was a big ass dude. Like he was chiseled.
Didn't he start? I think he went places too. I think he's still in the game.
I don't know.
I think he's in MMA. I forget his name, but somebody was saying, how people start doing all the crazy research now because you're in the UFC. Somebody on some Reddit thread was talking about it. Yeah.
I don't know. I'll fight him again. You know how I might get back. So he had me in the UFC, and he hears this.
He got lucky. He got lucky because he got you a week after a huge fight.
Yeah, that was bad.
And you were not in the best position. That's not an excuse. He got you. He caught you. You got caught. Whatever. You made tactical errors.
Yeah. Let's say you make errors, you come back better. And let's say after that fight, I didn't lose a fight until Glory.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went undefeated. And then Glory lost those 2 fights. Haven't lost a fight since.
No.
So.
It is what it is.
You beat me. Next person gonna really get it.
I don't hear a lot about Glory right now. I guess maybe I'm not following it.
I think I've seen a couple things. They show like knockouts from 18, but I'm not sure when they have another show.
They need Badahari back just for the.
Yeah, I think he is coming back.
I saw a poster about that, but him and Rico have to have another fight. I don't think he's beating Rico though.
No, he was beating Rico that fight. He was beating Rico. Rico wasn't ready for that. Rico hasn't fought anybody with that experience and that type of recklessness.
Yeah. The one fight that I would have you go to 205 for? You know it.
Yeah.
Saki.
But now we got to do the 85 thing. I can get at too.
Hey, Saki. I don't know why Saki doesn't go to 85. He's not a big guy.
He probably can't cut the weight. Just the same thing. You got to think.
I don't think he cuts a lot of weight.
Daniel's not a big guy. Daniel's 5'10".
Yeah, but he's a big dude.
Yeah, but again, the right diet, he probably could get down on
that. Would be an interesting fight, Saki Cormier. I think Cormier would kill him.
Yeah, because Cormier's not stupid. He's
going
to throw a combination.
Run him over.
He's going to grind him out, and then if he doesn't give him his back and choke him out like everybody else does, he's going to get up, he's going to be tired as shit, and he's going to get his ass beat.
I hear Cain Velasquez is coming back. I don't know if I want to see that. Because I think we're all expecting the old Cain. I don't know if that guy exists anymore.
He might be even better. You got to think, taking that time off.
I don't know, man. He broke so much. He broke so early and so much. I don't know. Those injuries don't go away. They don't go away. It's not like he took a year off because he had one injury. I mean, that dude was in and out, shoulder, back. He had back surgery.
You never know. But I know if Cormier's going for the title, I know they had to talk about something.
Yeah, I think they agreed they would never fight each other.
Yeah. Because Cormier was supposed to come.
They're too tight. Yeah. That's super tight.
Cormier was supposed to come to UFC in heavyweight, but since Cain had heavy, he said, I'm going to drop down. That's when he almost died going down there.
We were saying before, though, that Jones was saying he would go up to heavyweight to fight Cormier. That's some grimy shit.
Yeah, Jones is different.
He's definitely a different breed.
Definitely a different breed. But his whole family's nasty.
They're all crazy.
Two different brothers with NFL rings.
I don't know. All signs with Jones that I just don't feel like he's a nice person.
I don't know him personally, so I'm not going to make a comment on it, but hopefully he's the best person he can be. Let's put it
yeah. Whatever. It don't mean anything to me.
Not at all. Not putting him.
We're not fighting him anytime soon.
He's definitely not.
The only thing I care about is if he fights on a big card that we can be on, that's fine.
Why not?
I'll take the exposure any day.
Any day.
So, all right, Carl. We've been doing this for a while. Got anything you want to talk about?
Nope.
You want to go home and sleep?
Nah, I ain't go home.
You don't sleep. I know. You're crazy. You want to shout anything out?
Shout out all the family and friends that stick by me, all the teammates and everything help me push. Apologize to some of the family and friends that, I hurt because of life experiences and stuff. And shout out to my cousin T. He's always been there for me from the young days when I was a wild young whippersnapper, trying to keep me straight. And shout out to my sister, always can go to her for everything. And shout out to my coach Brian, because without him I wouldn't be here. So much love, and everybody better watch, because next time I fight, it ain't gonna be a submission. I finish the fight, I can tell you that.
Or it will be.
No, it's not gonna be. If it's a submission, he tapping just from these punches.
Hey man, with me, we've been. It's one of those ones that's like shared a lot of time on this mat and spilt a lot of blood and did a lot of things, and we've sacrificed to get to where we are. And yeah, man, like we team, man. That's the way it goes. That's what you if you can make it into the circle of who we are and what we do, it's just the way we roll, man. We may not be holding hands and slapping backs and being all rah rah like other people are, but it's like we're not a football team. Yeah. We're like men doing work. It's what we do. This is not an easy life, and if you understand that, and it is what it is, man.
And make the sacrifices, then it is what it is.
And at my point in my life, after all the years been doing this too, I kind of I'm picky. I'm straight up. I'm picky. I
sound like a little schoolgirl.
But I'm picky, man. I'm not going to work with just anybody. So if I'm going to work, it's because you show me something. And I'm not a rider either. I'm not going to work with you because I'm going to ride you. I'm not riding your talent. When I say you got to show me something, it's that I got to see that my effort's gonna just pay off. It's gonna balance out for both of us. And mutually beneficial trade. That's the way it's got to work.
Gotta give and you gotta get.
Yeah. Shout out to everybody where you are. Do you remember how they find you?
Oh, that's what you meant? I thought you was actually about to start shouting people out.
No, where are you at?
You can follow me on Instagram. If you don't know my Instagram by now, it's messed up. But again, you can follow me on Instagram at K_baby_K_Robertson. And you can follow me on Twitter at KBabyK.
You can get me at BrianWright732.com, BrianWright732 on Instagram and Twitter. You can follow the gym, KillerBCSA.com, KillerBCSA on Instagram and Twitter. You can find the podcast on Google Play, iTunes, TuneIn, and then if you want to download it direct, go to thehivecast.com and check out our episodes. Help us spread the word, share the love. We've been having some fun. We've got another episode coming out really soon. So this is Brian Wright with Carl Roberson. This is The Hive, and we are out.